Hi guys, in this session we are going to explore what is meant by the types of interfaces and the functional interface. So before that, in the previous video we have understood what is meant by interfaces in Java. So basically what this interface will do, it will not implement all the functions. We are just going to declare all the functions in the interface, and in the other classes we are going to implement the functions. So that is known as the interfaces. So that only the main definition written over here. You can see the contract based behavior. And where are these interfaces are, you can see that abstraction, the multiple inheritance, we are going to use these interfaces. Now let us explore. So if you have class for the abstraction or for the inheritance, you are going to use this extends keyword for the other class. If you have a class, if you want to use the interface, you need to use the keyword implements. For the interface and interface, you need to use the extends keyword. So I hope you know this. So the next one is the main important concept for this video is what are the types of interfaces, and in this you can see the in between one, that is SAM interface. This is very important for this video. So you can see there are three types of interfaces. The first one is the normal interface, and the second one is SAM, that is the full form is single abstract method. I will repeat it again, single abstract method interface. This is very important, or this is also known as functional interface. And the last one is the functional interface. So what is meant by these interfaces? So if you see this, if you observe the first one, that is normal interface. So according to the normal interface, you can declare how many the functions you declaration if you want. So you can see that I declare two functions over here, peek, remove. So like in this fashion, you can declare how many functions that you want in the same row. So in the other hand, if you come to the functional interface, so this is very important. You can only declare one function in that. So you can see I declared only one function over here. So you cannot declare more than one function in this. So why this kind of syntax we are using, why these functional interfaces are very useful means, so suppose you have a use case that for the specific task you need to implement only one function. That function is very important. Or for the if you want to implement threads also, these functional interfaces are very useful. So the last and final one is the marker interface. So once you use the marker interface, if you use the marker interface, so you're not going to declare any functions inside that. Then what is the use of this? So we have some uses. There are some uses you can check out that. So but these marker interface also used in the industry, that is interface without any methods. Okay, this functional interface is interface with only one method. So if you see, I came to the VS Code. Now what I will say here, so in my file I just have a class demo class, and in that I have main class, so main method, sorry. So I will come here and I will be going to have an interface. So I will name this interface as A. So in this interface, what I will be going to do is I will be going to create an, okay, even though if you not mention this as public abstract, so even though if you're not mentioning this public abstract, this is completely valid syntax, because you are declaring this in the interface. So I hope you understood this, why I am writing simple void show. Okay, now what I will be going to show you is, first let me show you the normal interface. So what is meant by normal interface? You can declare how many methods you want. So suppose I will say I already have the, so config. Okay, you can see I have two abstract methods over here. So this is known as the normal interface. So no need to mention above, there is something known as annotation. So on the top of this interface, you can mention @ and you can say normal. So at the top of that the sentence, you can mention @ symbol, and you can mention the annotation that you want. So basically what this annotation means, if you have any errors, so to reduce the errors, we will be mentioning the first itself, that is the annotation. So after that we are going to mention some stuff over here in the same line. So that is known as annotation. For the functional interface, we are going to have the annotation. We will see that. So this is known as the normal interface. Now what I will be going to do is I will come down and I will say class, another class. So I will name it as B, and I will say implements. So implements, I will be going to implement a class. Now what you will be going to see is it is showing error, because we are not implementing that interface, because we have two methods over here, we are not implementing that. So it is showing error, that's why. So I will what I will show is, you can simply hover over that, and you can quick fix. It is asking implement all the abstract methods. So I will click that. So you can see it is showing some annotations. I said before only. So this kind of syntax is known as annotations. So to avoid the errors, basically we are going to have this kind of annotations @ override. So if you remove that, so there is no problem, but okay, it's okay to have annotations, but it is showing warning. That's the reason. So what the warning it is showing, add @ override annotate. So basically those are known as annotations. So you can add or you cannot, means if that is your wish. So now I will be going to add that. So if you have some function known as show in this here also, then what it will be going to do, it will be due to method overriding, it will be consider this only. If you come here and if you create the object of b only, so I will say object, I will say object and I will say new with the help of the new keyword, and I will create the object of the b class, and that's it. So that's a simple method. But if you with the help of this object, what if you call the show method? So due to method overriding, so it should not happen. So that's the reason you are mentioning at the rate overriding. So this is the safety precaution. That's why you need to have the annotations. Okay, I hope you understood. So this is known as the normal interface. Now what is meant by the functional interface? So if you want to understand the functional interface, it is nothing but just if you see, just you need to implement only one method. So I will mention a annotation. That's it. It becomes all our. So you can see the solution. So the functional interface, you can click that. It will be going to coming from java.lang. If you click that, so basically what it will be going to say is it is showing error, because as this is the functional interface, you are going to have only one method. So one method means you are going to have one method, only show or only config. That is your wish, but you need to have only one. You need to have only one method, that is your wish. You can have config or you can have show, but here also it is showing there is no show method. So I will just simply remove that. Okay, I hope you understood. So if you want, just I will simply remove over here, because I will be going to implement this interface. This functional interface means only one method directly with the help of this object. How? With the help of the anonymous inner class. So basically what you are going to see clearly. So after creating this object, so this is known as object creation. Okay, after the object creation and before the semicolon, you are going to come here and you are going to mention this curly braces. So like this you are going to mention. So this is known as anonymous inner class. So in this anonymous inner class, whatever you want to do, you can perform all the class actions. Suppose in the class what I will going to do. So I want to going to implement this function, because it is showing error here. You can hover over that, it will say. So class B. Okay, so there is no class B. Now we can simply make the object of A, because we are just having only one interface. I just for understanding purpose I showed you. So I have an interface. For the interface I have created an object. For that object I am creating an anonymous inner class. So in this anonymous inner class, what I will be going to have is the implementation for this function. So what I will be going to do is I will be going to create a function so called public show void, the same function that I need to have here. So config. So you can see the warning and error has been suppressed over here. So I will simply call this config function here. So in this config function, if you want to show something, so I will say system.ln.printout to print something in the terminal. So I am in the. So that's it. So what you are doing, what you are basically doing is you are creating a functional interface. What is meant by functional interface? The interface which contains only one method. So there are some other use cases with the help of these functional interfaces. Why someone need to have only one method inside a interface instead of having multiple methods, like you can have multiple methods like show as well. So no, you cannot have this, because you are implicitly mentioning functional interface. So if you remove this functional interface, that is known as normal interface. So that will allow all how many abstract methods that you want, that is absolutely allowed. But once you have this functional interface, you need to definitely have only one method inside there. It has its own implementations. So I quickly came here and created a new object for the A class only, A interface only. So with the help of this anonymous inner class, so I created just that function. Due to that is because definitely need to implement it, because that's an interface. So if you run that, so it is saying I am in the config. So I hope you understood what is meant by functional interface, which have only one method inside that.